As I mentioned on our little mini day one pre-show, Johnny, the last time we saw these two teams, Vitality probably put in the best performance we've seen from them, at least as far as the eye test goes, for many months.
Yeah, Kid Up was hitting everything that he went for. Already Kid Up's hitting something that he's gone for, 1-0 in 12 seconds. I think Kid Up can be consistent and Radosin can just pop off. This is a team who can make deep runs for sure. And they did it last time against Solary. They were able to bring out the goods. They were able to get the win in round one and send Solary to that lower bracket. It's keeping up that level of form that proved to be the issue, but you've got to give it to them already. They're the faster team out of the gate, and they're the team with the lead.
Well, let's see if they can keep it as Oli comes forward. Has two in front of him. Brilliant attempt there with the flip reset, and Alpha is just bundled out the way by K-Dot. Such is Vitality's desperation to get rid of the ball right there. But that's what we have to see from Vitality. We have to see them fighting for it. We have to see them desperate to get on that ball, because I feel like when Radosin first joined the team, he started off, despite Vitality finishing 4th in the first regional, just a little bit slow. It wasn't until that second regional that he really took the bull by the horns and looked like a great player himself. But how much space has Mike Boy had there?
Yeah, Alpha 54 was in the back corner here, but Oli managed to bump him, so Mike Boy's shot just went through. There's no one back to cover the net. Very nice bump off the ball there by Oli, who's looking lively early on in the series. Best of 5 for round 1, best of 5 all day today in what will be the end of the season for many teams, many players. If you're not making it to Landing, you're not making it to Worlds or Wildcard, this is it. This is the last event of the season. Everybody's giving it their all.
Giving it your all, and not too many opportunities to lose either. Double elimination, as it's been throughout this split, means that just a couple of losses and you are out of here. But Alpha almost gets Solary out of there with a lovely little air dribble. Good tap. He's already won a couple of decent balls in the air, has Alpha, so showing some pace and speed as this new Vitality roster continue to get used to each other. But Solary, they started the split so well, running so deep in that first competition. A little bit disappointing the second time out, and they will be wanting to fix that there. Definitely in their hands, making it to Landon in spot number 5, and they've managed to get back into this first game as well. So they've got a bit of pressure on Vitality. Radosin tries to slow things down, but Oli follows up the 50-50 game from Solary. We know that is their best weapon against a team like Vitality, and they will not be too disappointed to see Team Vitality trying to play that way. Here's another chance for Oli, but Radosin clears it long.
Yeah, Solary definitely dominated with the 50-50 game in the first regional of this split, but since then teams have started to anticipate that, and it's up to Solary to try and surprise their opposition. They've got to mix it up a little bit. You can always go back to that low 50-50, the controlled game. The hard clear is probably what they're going to go to, just to keep teams from moving in and taking all the space away from them. So you don't have to really worry about hard clears. You don't have to worry about long shots when a team is just trying to control every ball in the back corner and 50-50 everything like Solary did in regional number 1. They are trying to keep Vitality guessing at the moment. They're actually getting a ton of space to work with, and Vitality do back down all the way to their net pretty consistently.
Yeah, some decent bumps and demos coming in from Solary again, though. Vitality seem to be staying a little bit still in defense at times, as Alpha makes me eat my words by taking out Mike Boy in the midfield, but it's Solary that can go forwards with a flip reset. Alpha gets a clean touch all the way forwards, and Mike Boy is on his own goal line. Has to be careful with his touch. Actually touches the goalpost. Going to make it really awkward for him there, and Alpha can steal the boost. So a decent little passenger play there for Vitality. Nothing comes from it, but they are just showing that in this game of patience, maybe they are more likely to strike next. Feels like I've hit a bit of a midpoint in this game, Johnny. Things have slowed down somewhat in the last 30 seconds or so.
Yeah, I'm surprised to see less passing coming out of Solary. I would love to see them infield a little bit more. They've had space to try and lob the ball into the center a couple of times, and instead just gone straight for goal. Vitality, likewise, just very direct at the moment, playing Route 1, keeping it simple. You can see a Solary player lurking in the midfield pretty much every single time that they advance. They've got an option there, yet to take it.
Mike Boy, such an important player for Solary as well. The last few times Vitality have come forward, he's been left all alone and had to deal with them. Now on the other side, here's Oli with a chance for a double tap. Absolutely nails it.
So just narrowly beats Alpha to the ball to set it up as well. That was such a key opening touch. K-Dot had boost there on the back wall. That's a big miss. Vitality actually falling behind now. So far, for me, it's been Oli who's been the toughest player to answer. He's actually getting consistent outplays on Vitality.
my favorite player for Solary as well. Always just seems so difficult to beat when he has So and Mike Boy beside him. This is a team that are looking more and more like just that, a team, understand each other. That's a great one, though, from Alpha, and Mike Boy, the last man back yet again, comes in clutch for Solary. Only misses that one, though. They're going to have to do some defending for the last 45 seconds or so. Dosen's got this ball. He hasn't got much boost to play with until one spawns in front of him. Only winning that one again. Good speed from Solary. They started off the game the slower of the two teams, but have definitely stepped up since then. With 30 seconds left, Alpha has to do something. He has to conjure something up, but Mike Boy just steams in there from that third man position and just keeps getting in the way of Vitality.
He's finding a lot of ways into the game, Mike Boy. Like you mentioned, he's been playing third man most of this game. He's got 5 saves to his name already out of the 7 that his team have in total.
Oh, great.
He's staying active as another bump actually connects, and the shot goes top corner from Tho. Not for the first time this game. Oli behind enemy lines, bumping the last man. I'm not sure if he would have made it either way, though. That was a very aggressive position for Dosen to take, as Solary lead now by 2 goals. They're looking great. 3 on the trot against Vitality.
And they had to come back from the goal down as well, did Solary. It wasn't easy for them in this first game. Vitality showing a real turn of pace right at the start, but Solary built their way into it. Didn't panic, which is maybe the difference between this performance and the one we saw from them in the second regional. Just able to keep Vitality at arm's length, not worry too much when they're playing well, when they're taking the lead, when they're beating Solary to the ball in the air. Slightly adjust their game plan and slow things down a little bit. And when it was just a bit of a grind, Solary, to me, did look more likely at taking the opportunities when they came. Johnny, thanks mainly to those bumps.
Yeah, they're great off the ball. Lovely physical play out of Solary. Just completely stopping Vitality short in the midfield. After the opening goal, Vitality didn't really have a lot going for them in attack. And I think Solary's high defensive line helped out with that.
Chiefs, I mean, we had 46% of people backing Solary here, so something of an upset in this game. Any other upsets around the place?
Currently, the biggest one right now is probably 3-3 with Endpoint versus Irigiri with just started of overtime in game 1. So me saying that Algiri doesn't really matter too much, instantly having to eat my words a little bit there. Luminosity was 1-0 over K-Corp at game 1. BDS 3-1 over Juicers with about a minute left, and Simper leading over Dignitas 2-1 with about a minute left. So lots to keep an eye on in round 1, but the biggest one probably Endpoint versus Algiri in OT at the moment.
It's crazy because every result you were saying just there, I was like, oh my goodness, they're losing. Wow, it's the end of these regionals. I love it when every goal matters. It's great.
It's terrifying.
Terrifying.
I can't handle the stress. I just remember the first regional of the spring split. I was like, oh, I forgot how hard double elimination is. It's terrifying.
It is very harsh, and it's going to be harsh in our feature game yet again. 1-0 to Solary after a very good performance in the first game, despite a slow start. Oli can make it a really quick start for Solary in this second one. Tho finishes the job that Oli started. Good finish.
Yeah, great shot coming out of Tho. Oli in the 1v1. Didn't force the goal immediately, but he forced a bad save, and that's the next best thing. Tho able to pounce on the free ball and put Solary ahead even quicker than Vitality took the lead in game 1. This is rapidly becoming a bit of a one-sided game. Still early days, but Vitality have not looked as mechanical as they did last regional in this matchup, where Radosin was popping off and getting multiple outplays, and Alpha 54 was being Alpha 54. That none of those things have been happening today for Vitality, and if the solo plays aren't popping off, they need to work well as a team. And I don't remember the last time I saw a good pass from them. Maybe that's the first goal that they scored, but since then it's pretty much been one touch and then Solary come in and take the ball from them.
Agreed with you there, Johnny Boy. Seems to be fairly standard touches from Vitality. Playing it safe, playing it easy, and Solary are always ready for that. They're so fast. Wow, what a save that was from Alpha from within his own goal. But just a snap of life there from Solary to turn fairly neutral play into an attack almost again. But Mike Boy, the now perennial third man in this series, was able to turn away from it. Still a chance, though, comes in the end for Vitality, and they've upped their pace recently. Vitality showing more of the signs of themselves that took Solary that seemed to find it pretty easily against Solary when last they played. But Solary come forward again. Mike Boy can't quite get it on target. And it just seems that with Vitality speeding up, Johnny, they might leave themselves open behind.
Yeah, they don't really have a choice, though. They're not creating very many chances, and when you're struggling for opportunities on net, you need to take more risks positionally or mechanically, and that's what Vitality are trying to do here. They're completely out of boost, though. Oli slots in a second goal, and it was just too awkward on the goal line for K-Dop and Radosin. They're both in the area, but Radosin pre-jumps, misreads the crossbar bounce, and K-Dop left boost starved, not able to keep Solary at bay, 2-0.
Not too impressed with the Vitality communication either. The two players on the goal line doing the exact same dance, going forward and backwards together to allow that angle to come in. And in the end, the finish was pretty easily done, shall I say. With a quick shot towards the goal, but K-Dop was up for that one all by himself. That's better from Vitality. Good pass from K-Dop to Alpha, but then the hit forward is just read too easily again there. K-Dop's hoping to get involved, but Mightboy isn't going to let him. And now we're seeing way too few passes from Vitality. Solary are getting clean touches all over the place, finding each other with their hits, and Vitality are struggling to come forward at all.
Yeah, Solary have got a system working right now. They're rotating around each other very well, leaving boost for each other when it needs to be left up for someone else who's needing a bit more than you do. Just giving each other a lot more space as the 50-50 gets forced in field. Infield pass really being threatened consistently now in game number 2 by Solary. I think they passed up quite a lot of opportunities to pull that off in the first game. They've realized that, tried to send the ball directly into the middle, counter Vitality's defensive positioning. Vitality are completely stuck in their own half. Just one shot to their name. It was a decent opportunity from Radosin early, but they're just double committing and failing to communicate and spread out and just know who's supposed to go for what. Vitality looking second best by a clear margin.
Very fine line between genius and looking a bit silly, and Vitality there with what we'll generously call a fake shot. Could have looked brilliant if it had come off, but the fact that the finish wasn't there from the second player just makes it look a little bit staggered in their attack and their approach. They have to change that. They do have time, though, only a couple of goals in it and almost a couple of minutes on the clock. Starting to put some passes in, these long looping passes forward, but Oli, I mean, you mentioned him in the first game, Johnny, and he has been the man who's intercepted so many of them for Solary. Vitality do come forward again. Here's Alpha, a chance to show off his mechanics, but Oli again is just waiting for the ball. He is reading everything Vitality are putting forward, and they just cannot lay a punch on Solary right now.
That's still just that one shot for Radosin. Alpha 54's managed to pick up a couple, but neither of them were all that threatening. K-Dop with a tough read does well. Knock that into the corner, but Alpha 54 gets bumped as he tries to take control of the ball in defense. Now, Phil's taking a boost away from Radosin. It's just little wins all over the pitch for Solary. Little bump here, little boost steal there. Everything that they're doing, making Vitality's life all the more difficult. There, Alpha 54 again just getting bumped off the ball as he tries to just transition out of defense with a ceiling shot. And now Mightboy's bumped the last man. Radosin has to dive back. Physical play proven to be the difference, or one of the differences, I would say. Solary have been better in many ways, but that's something they've done exceptionally well in the matchup so far.
Solary come forward again. A great pass from Oli to Mightboy, who has been so much more advanced in this second game. But this could be a chance to counter. Alpha has boost, and he has a chance to go solo in the air. Above him, Radosin. Alpha's trying to get a bump. Oli dodges it. Desperate was Alpha to get a touch on that ball towards K-Dop. But Oli, yet again, the mastermind between Solary's defense, allows Foe to air dribble it forwards. Radosin gets a tough read, similar to K-Dop's earlier, but it's looking like they're not going to have time. The flip reset's going nowhere. Does get a second chance, but Solary can just wait. Just wait until Mightboy steams in. Brilliant play from Solary. They are reading Vitality like a book, and they are getting another goal to add to their lead.
Yeah, aggressive third man dive there from Vitality, knowing that they need to get 2 goals in quick succession. It does lead to a third for Solary as Mightboy shows us how to control a pinch center ball. Though there for it to make it 3-0. Just easy for Solary right now. Their system is working well. They're rotating brilliantly. Their bumps have been effective. And they've passed a lot more in game number 2 as well. I'd say the second game, just an improvement from Solary on their first game performance, which was also quite a comfortable win. Vitality just don't know how to answer it. Solo plays are going nowhere. Passing plays are non-existent. Communication seems to be breaking down. It's all gone wrong for the French superstars.
This seems like one of those days for Vitality where it is just not happening for them. And Solary, we were saying that this is the team that pretty much have to lose to open the door for Vitality themselves and Semper and Endpoint, and it's just not looking like it's going to happen. What could be a huge series victory for Solary in this double elimination bracket is going so well for them. Achieves any of the other teams out there looking to get into that top 5, or the teams that don't matter, doing anything.
Juicers are definitely taking VDS for a little bit of a spin. It was 1-1 with about a minute 30 left, so they may tie the things up. K-Corp, if you're big fans of mechanics, they absolutely smashed Luminosity in game 1 5-2, which is a good thing to see if you like them. Misfits regaining ground 3-2 W to tie things up with Liquid heading into game 3, and Dig regaining a little bit of ground against Semper as well. So things looking pretty good for a lot of people who lost game 1, and Algeria currently just conceded game 2 back to Endpoint, so they're tied as well heading into their own game 3.
So it seems that pretty much every series is 1-1 except for this one, which looks like it's just going to be a Solary domination.
And they pretty much smashed it. I mean, I've been watching that one out of the corner of my eye too. Like game 1, it was kind of a little bit of push, a little bit of pull for both teams. And game 2, I think you said it, Johnny, it's just everything breaking down for Vitality, the small wins. I mean, they're really absolutely shoving it down for Vitality. They cannot figure out how to get out of their own half.
All eyes then on Vitality to see if they can stop the rot and at least get themselves involved in a series that seems to be going so easily in the direction of the 3 Dutch players. Already a good start there from Olu with a little edgeable over the top. But the man on the ball now, attempting a musty flick and following it up. He has to step up here, Johnny. This is where Vitality need the Alpha show to commence.
Or how about the Redosin show? This is the guy who scored a top 3 player of the day in the Solary Vitality matchup last regional number 2. And, you know, when we saw Redosin playing like that, the first thing that came to all of our minds is maybe this is good news for Vitality because Alpha 54 doesn't need to do that hard carry pop-off every single time. So every time Alpha has a quiet day or a quiet game in the past, Vitality would lose. But with Redosin being a more mechanical player, you've got a little less load on your shoulders. Oh, that's a great pass. Opposite the post that K-Dot follows up. He's going to have his shot saved to the post pinch. That needed to be on target. Redosin did all the heavy lifting. Alpha not able to hit the target. Redosin now narrowly missing a stealing shot. It's been Redosin for me who's had the biggest pop-off so far in game 3. Can Alpha step up and help him out?
Oh, the creativity, though, from Vitality is so much better. These little passes into the center, they're in the same conversation right now. The Vitality players, not stepping on each other's toes, but helping each other out. These hits finding each other, but Obi's going to slow things down. In the air, he dances. K-Dot meets him. The 50-50 goes to the ceiling. Redosin wants to follow it up, but can't quite do it, allowing a clean touch for Mike Boy to get right into that Vitality corner. That might be going all the way. No, it's in the crossbar. I think it hit the post as well there. Bit of pandemonium there in the Vitality defense. Somehow, we're still at 0-0. I don't really know how. Almost a couple of minutes in.
Yeah, really could have been a goal there. K-Dot wasn't ready to attack the center ball. And even though it was quite a low one, he had to just wait and hope that Oli would hit the bar, and he did. Still 0-0. Mike Boy trying to stretch to reach a ball that he slightly misread the bounce of. Look at the confidence from Solary. Definitely feeling like the faster team today. That's not the first time. Normally it'll be the last third man's committed. Alpha 54 not able to 1v1 Oli, who stands strong in the way of him. But Redosin's got someone up and ends off the post and out. Vitality just can't get the goal. They've had the better chances in game 3 though.
They're doing everything but scoring, Vitality. That's a good touch from Redosin. They will go again, reloading over and over. This Vitality team look more alive now, but a bump. No, there's no bump. It's actually a redirect from the floor. Mike Boy gets the lead for Solary.
You definitely know he was thinking about the bump here, but Ballcam stayed on that whole time. He was in the right spot to threaten the goalkeeper, and no doubt that is what Redosin was expecting. A great little deflection there from Mike Boy to steer the ball past him. Half of the game to go. Vitality need something special. They need their star player Alpha 54 to step up here. They need their new player Redosin to show that the pop-off performance versus Solary in regional number 2 is not a flash in the pan.
All it takes is one goal, and suddenly Vitality will believe they can get back into this series. But they haven't scored a goal since the first game. And it's not looking any more likely right now after having so much pressure on the Solary goal and still finding themselves one behind. That's really going to hurt. It could be worse here. K-Dot's clearance does go as far as Redosin, but his first touch is maybe going to let him do something against Oli. No, Oli's clearance was good. His 50-50 game was strong even in the air, even with no boost left, even when it looked like Vitality could make a counter-attack. Solary just put a big old Dutch car in the way, and Vitality can't do anything with it. The fakes aren't quite working either, but they are trying more nimble thoughts of Vitality. They're trying to mix up their approach, and that I like. K-Dop's getting involved. That was going onto the backboard, or the back wall, and K-Dop then just getting involved again in the sky. You can't say they're not trying, Vitality. They're attempting so much but Solary always seem to be able to read it. And when they do come forward, they cut through and bundle the ball home.
Mike Boy crushes Vitality on the goal line, and I think crushes their hopes in this matchup as well. Vitality have really just tried anything here. They've tried to catch Solary off guard with their weird angles of approach and offense this game. It hasn't worked out. They've tried to hit the target, and they've come into contact more often with the post. But one thing has been consistent this entire series is that Solary are a constant threat moving forward. Vitality not really, I think, playing the best defense today. Communications looked off, but Solary are confident. Solary are quick. They aren't relying on that control that they so clearly have figured out from earlier on in the split. They're really going for the win today, and they're going to have a 3-goal lead. Oli, with nobody to beat, puts the goal into the net. Vitality are on a speed run right now to the lower bracket.
Just shooting practice for Solary at this point. I've loved the way this team has approached this series. At the start, as we mentioned, Vitality looked like the better team for the first minute or so, which obviously isn't a very long time, but when you begin a series and you aren't as good as your opponent, you can get on top of yourself, you can get in your own head. Solary never let that happen, and now they are reaping the rewards. Another kickoff goal. It's pretty painful for Vitality. It's a little bit. But Solary, though, I mean, this has been brilliance from them.
It has, yeah. Vitality are going to be very disappointed with how they've played here. They've run into a Solary team who are playing some of the best Rocket League they've played all split, but what we're seeing here from Vitality is nowhere near the level they need to be at, and nowhere near the level they know they can be at if they're going to be contending for a land-in spot this weekend. They're not out yet, but lower bracket is a terrifying place to be in the final online event of the entire season. And unfortunately for Vitality, they just didn't bring the right tools to the table today. The Dutch built a dam in the midfield, and it proved to be a bit too tough for Vitality to get past.
Now, do you want to hear some copium, Johnny? I know you love it.
I love it, yeah.
Last time we watched Vitality and Solary play, it was the first round upper bracket game. And Vitality were great. They were absolutely brilliant. Best we've seen them play in months. We were saying, wow, Vitality are back with Radosin, right? They ended up then bombing out, not winning another series. So now this time, you and I are casting Vitality. We're saying, oh, their season's over. They've been rubbish. You know, they've really lost to Solary. They've lost it. Does that mean that when you and I stop watching them, they're going to be great for the rest of the tournament? So like a direct opposite situation.
I hope so. Just for the storyline. You know, this can't be how it ends, surely. This can't be how Vitality season ends. It just in a absolute car crash with no life left. You know, they have to fight for this. They're in the lower bracket now, but they're not out. They're going to need to win twice today in order to make it into, further into this event, but more importantly, into qualifying spots for Landon. They're going to be up next against the loser of Moist versus Grow Noobs, which I think is going to probably beat Grow Noobs, as Moist have already beaten them 3-0. But yeah, Chiefs, what other news have we got? I've only just now refreshed the bracket, so anything else?
It was pretty wild. The biggest one probably would have been Liquid with a late game equalizer against Misfits and winning the overtime. So they're currently ahead in the series 2-1, and I can hear Jorby crying somewhere in the US. He's very upset. Juicers were tied against BDS, but unfortunately, they're still playing in their game 3. So Juicers give BDS a pretty decent run for their money. Endpoint took the game 3 win over Algerian, currently kind of running the floor with them. They just scored 2 inside of 15 seconds, so they're looking pretty good as well. But as you said, Moist already beat Grow Noobs, so perhaps the one expected result we thought, but some of the other teams that I thought didn't matter are putting up a pretty decent show.
I just realized that series was 11-1 for Solary overall after Vitality. You know, they had a really good opening 20 seconds. Some of their best
they had
opening
a
20 seconds.
Good goal at the start, and then they completely fell apart. So good job, Solary.
I'll tell you what, since we've finished game 1, let's go ahead and hop over to that Dig Simper match, as it was the other one we kind of put the spot